The rain in Chicago had a way of cleansing the city, but it couldn't wash away the dirt I felt on my soul. My name is David, and this is the story of how my perfect world, the one I had built with Emily, crumbled to dust. It didn't happen in a single, dramatic moment. It was a slow, agonizing descent, a series of small, almost insignificant betrayals that, when pieced together, formed a mosaic of heartbreak. The first sign was the perfume. It wasn't that she smelled bad. On the contrary, it was a scent so intoxicating and unfamiliar that it felt alien on her skin. She had always worn the same scent, a subtle rose and jasmine blend that had become synonymous with her. This new one was different, spicy and bold, like a stranger's embrace. When I asked her about it, she just smiled and said it was a gift from a colleague. I didn't question it. Why would I? She was Emily, the woman who had been my everything for 10 years. But that scent, it was the first crack in the foundation. I remember that Tuesday evening. The Chicago skyline was a canvas of bruised purples and grays, the rain-slicked streets reflecting the neon glow of traffic lights. I was home, waiting for her, the scent of a forgotten dinner filling the air. She walked in, her trench coat beaded with rain, her cheeks flushed with a cold that had nothing to do with the weather. Her phone was clutched in her hand, a small, black object she never let out of her sight anymore. It used to be different. Our phones would lie forgotten on the counter as we talked about our days, the laughter and the silence between us more important than any notification. Now, it was a silent, third party in our marriage. This was our life in a brownstone in Lincoln Park. The kind of place you see in movies, with wide windows looking out onto tree-lined streets and neighbors who wave from their porches. Emily was an interior designer, and our home was a testament to her talent, minimalist, yet warm, filled with books and plants and the kind of soft light that made every evening feel like a cozy sanctuary. But even sanctuaries can hide secrets. The next sign was the car. She had a small, white Audi that was her pride and joy. She was meticulous about it, always keeping it spotless. But one Saturday, while cleaning it for her, I found a coffee receipt tucked into the side pocket of the passenger door. It was from The Gilded Bean, a chic, artisanal coffee shop downtown, the kind of place she called pretentious and wouldn't be caught dead in. I thought nothing of it, at first. Maybe a client meeting, I reasoned. But a small, nagging voice in the back of my mind whispered a different story. It was a cold, cruel voice, and it was getting louder. The small, jagged pieces of evidence, the strange perfume, the coffee receipt, the fleeting text message, were like a virus in my mind. They multiplied, infecting every memory, every conversation I'd had with Emily over the past few months. I found myself replaying moments, searching for clues I had been too blind to see before. Was her smile less genuine at our anniversary dinner? Was her "I love you" a little too quick, a little too rehearsed? My life had become a grim detective show, and I was both the investigator and the victim. The worst part of this quiet hell was the isolation. I couldn't talk to anyone. How do you tell your best friend, "I think my wife is cheating on me," when you have no concrete proof, only a gut feeling that's gnawing at your insides? I saw my reflection in the window of our Lincoln Park brownstone, a gaunt, tired-looking man, a ghost in his own home. The vibrant light that Emily had filled our lives with seemed to be fading, replaced by a cold, gray fog. One evening, the silence was unbearable. Emily was working late, again. I walked from room to room, the echo of my footsteps on the hardwood floors mocking me. I felt a desperate need to find something, anything, that would either confirm my fears or put them to rest. My eyes landed on her handbag, left on the kitchen counter. A wave of guilt washed over me, but it was quickly swallowed by a more powerful tide of desperation. I told myself it wasn't a violation, it was a search for the truth. I opened the bag, my heart pounding in my chest like a drum. I found her wallet, keys, and a few lipsticks. Then, I saw it, a small, silver phone, tucked away in a hidden zipper compartment. It was sleek and modern, a model I didn't recognize. The screen was off. I hesitated for a moment, my hand shaking. This was the point of no return. I knew if I turned it on, I might find something I couldn't unsee. My thumb pressed the power button. The screen flickered to life. There was no password. The most recent text message was from a contact saved only as M. The message read, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Miss you." I dropped the phone as if it were a burning coal. The sound of it hitting the counter was deafening in the silence of the house. M. The man from the text messages, the one she'd been seeing. The pieces of the puzzle clicked into place with a horrifying, sickening finality. It was no longer a suspicion. It was a fact. I stood there, staring at the small, glowing screen, the words searing themselves into my mind. The rain outside had stopped, and the moon cast a cold, sterile light into the room. It was over. Everything we had built, the memories, the promises, the years, was gone. And the worst part? I was standing in the middle of our perfect home, completely alone. The little silver phone lay on the countertop, a glowing testament to my shattered reality. The words, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Miss you," were burned into my retinas. The initial shock gave way to a cold, burning rage. The perfect life we had built, the shared dreams, the 10 years of marriage, it was all a lie. Every affectionate look, every gentle touch, every "I love you" felt like a cruel mockery. I don't remember how long I stood there, staring at the screen. Minutes, maybe an hour. The sound of a key in the front door lock pulled me out of my trance. It was her. Emily. The moment she stepped inside, the usual smile on her face, I felt a shift in the atmosphere. The air was thick with unspoken truths. She saw the phone on the counter, its screen still lit. Her smile vanished, replaced by a mask of panic. Her eyes, which I had once loved for their honesty, now held a look of a cornered animal. "David, what are you doing?" she said, her voice a whisper. I picked up the phone, my hand steady despite the storm inside me. I walked towards her, the phone held out like a weapon. "What am I doing?" I asked, my voice dangerously calm. "I'm looking for the truth, Emily. And I found it. Right here." She didn't try to lie, didn't try to deny it. She just stood there, her head bowed in shame. "David, please." But there was no "please" that could fix this. The foundation of our life was gone, and there was nothing left to build on. The silence that filled our kitchen was no longer the peaceful quiet of a shared home, but a suffocating void. The only sound was the faint hum of the refrigerator. I watched as her face, once so familiar and dear, crumpled. She knew there was no escape. She had been caught. The lie she had been living, the deception she had meticulously woven, was finally unraveling before her eyes. My voice, when it came, was not the angry roar I felt building inside me. It was a cold, sharp whisper. "Who is he, Emily?" She shook her head, her lips trembling. "It doesn't matter, David. It was a mistake. Just a mistake." A bitter, involuntary laugh escaped me. A mistake? For how long? Was the perfume a mistake? The phone a mistake? The late nights and the lies, were those all just mistakes? I saw her flinch with every word. My calm was a thin veneer, and underneath, a storm of betrayal and pain was raging. The mask of composure finally cracked. "You promised me forever," I said, my voice rising, raw with emotion. "You looked me in the eye and promised to be my wife. And all this time, you were his? Did you even care? Did any of it mean anything to you?" Tears streamed down her face, and for the first time, I saw not shame, but a flicker of something else, perhaps regret, or a twisted sort of relief that the charade was over. But it was too late. The damage was done. She tried to reach for me, but I stepped back, as if her touch were poison. Don't touch me, I said, my voice thick with a pain so deep I could barely breathe. The life we had built, the love I had cherished, felt like a complete fabrication. The city outside, so full of life and motion, was a distant, indifferent blur. In this moment, in this house, there was only the cold, hard reality of our broken world.